Kideaters vs. Zoo BoyZ, Chapter 11, Part B. As they ran, Dave couldn't resist the urge to look back. They all kept the same pace. They really didn't want to be left alone again. Dave informed them, "Guys, you're not going to believe this. There is a freaking tree chasing us. And it's gaining ground very fast. We got to run faster. Run faster." Dave burst into a much faster speed than the others. They saw him up ahead, and then he seemed to disappear from sight. John clarified what he saw. "Looks like he dropped into a hole." That's exactly what happened. John was next, followed by Jeremy, then finally Ronnie. Each kid, other than Dave, purposefully aimed feet first. Dave didn't have that option. He just dropped in while running, clearing the obstructed opening for his buddies to see. They found safety in an open manhole. As they looked up, they observed the mobile tree pass right over the top. Ronnie whispered, "I don't think he knows where we went. So glad I made it." I'm so glad we all made it." Jeremy whispered too. "It wouldn't fit down here." Dave took the role as leader. "Let's move on, dogs." Above the ground, the tree was baffled by where his tasty prey went. The boys followed the tunnel, feeling much safer underground. They came to a ladder that led up. John asked Dave, "Should we go up here or keep moving through the tunnel?" Dave was thinking it over. Jeremy whispered, "Listen." Their eyes grew bigger, and all their attention was fixed on what they heard. It was too dark to see anything. Ronnie kept his voice low. "Sounds like there's something down that way." John was soft. "I think we should go up here." Dave flicked the night vision switch on the camera so he could see further down. He saw something moving. That helped him make his final decision. He agreed with John. "Yeah, good call. Let me go up first to see if the coast is clear." They waited. Dave climbed up and raised the hatch to take a peek. Light creeped in the tunnel below. He looked down, but rather than saying anything, he motioned for them to come up and follow him. They came out from the lower passage and were thrilled to see it led to one of the bigger restaurants. They followed Dave to some buttons on the wall. He spoke quietly. "Look, we're in some type of elevator." They hadn't realized it yet, but the whole restaurant was an elevator. Dave spoke barely above a whisper. "We can push this button and it should lift us up way high. We'll be able to see the whole zoo from an aerial position." John recalled reading about this somewhere. He remembered as he spoke in a hush. "Oh yeah, I saw this in some magazine about food and entertainment. Don't judge me. It was one of the only magazines in the dentist's office waiting room. Anyway, it's exactly like Dave said. It goes down several floors into the earth, then leads to more tunnels, which lead to different sections of the zoo." Jeremy couldn't contain his excitement. "Oh yeah, like Disney World, the Magic Kingdom. The ground level was built with roads, tunnels, passages, and then on top of that, Walt Disney built the park." Jeremy essentially loved the idea of hidden passages. He knew there must be something like that. Ronnie asked, "You saying this whole building is an elevator?" Dave spoke before John could. "Well, this part is." John nodded. They knew there were restaurants that moved in slow circles during the course of a meal, but this one went vertical. Dave moved his finger closer and closer to the button with the arrow pointing up. He looked at them, then at the button, then back at them, then at the button, again and again, until his finger finally reached its destination. They felt nothing. "Maybe it's broke," said Ronnie. "Maybe it isn't working right," said Jeremy. Dave kept pushing the up button. John pointed at one of the windows as he told them, "Look at the writing on the wall, outside that window. Watch carefully." They saw a message written on the wall. As the building rose, it revealed each word one by one. They were really reading it from the bottom up. They joined in, saying each word slowly and all together. "You are now going up." Jeremy commented, "Well, isn't that special?" They all chuckled. Soon they were at land level. They waited patiently, and before too long, they were at tree level, then above the tree line, then finally at the highest level possible. They felt like they could see for miles. Ronnie blurted out, "Look down there. That tree is not just swaying in the breeze, it's moving around. I bet that's the one that chased us." Dave marveled at it all, saying, "Imagine if he didn't chase us, we probably would have never found this place." Jeremy noted, "Everything looks so small from up here." John ran across the room, past a few tables and chairs to view the other side. Dave did the same so he could get a good, different point of view. They saw the aviary dome, the ropes course, the entrance, gift shops, snack booths, other restaurants, the Wack Museum, the lakes, ponds, rivers, everything on the island and the water around it. Jeremy pointed out the back entrance to the zoo and service roads. Ronnie looked for the area where Crusoe may live. He also looked for Quasi and Major Hightower. They also saw where most of the crates were dropped, waiting to be filled with what they could catch. The boys felt safe here. They knew they were going to be in trouble for leaving the Major's side, but they really had not done it on purpose. Dave wondered if she'd be mad because he took the video camera. Most of the things in that backpack were for them to use. It wasn't as if he took one of the weapons that they weren't supposed to touch. The only thing he could shoot with the camera was video and pictures. He was sure once she saw the footage he got, her anger would fade away. While in the elevated restaurant, they rummaged through the kitchen and found food to eat. Ronnie fed Tina, too. While eating and looking out, they saw Major Hightower following Quasi. John suggested, "Let's hook back up. Back up with the Major and Quasi, so we can do what we need to do to get off this crazy island. Now even the trees are after us." They all looked out past the island, past all the water. They saw the mainland and tried to see their homes. It was just enough reminder to stir their longing for true freedom. Dave ran over to the controls and began to take them back down to ground level. John continued, "If we had a map of the tunnels, we could just use those to get where we need to go. Maybe like Major has one." The other two boys scurried off to gather all the supplies, food they could carry, so that they'd have some for later. That's when they realized this was the same restaurant that had the floor-to-ceiling aquarium, the home of the octopus that with the master skills in camouflage. They used extra caution as they made their way outside into the sun. They hoped the octopus, who could even turn invisible, wouldn't come for them while in direct sunlight. The coast was clear, so they made their exodus. Standing outside, they snacked on what food they had. Jeremy told his friends, "Look at this jar of jelly. I took it from the pantry shelf. I think it's gone bad." John offered advice. "Well, look for an expiration date." Ronnie looked over Jeremy's shoulder. He read the label on the side. "Around the back, where the ingredients are, it says jelly. Jelly fish. Jeremy! 100% jelly fish!" John uttered, "Hey, guys, look around us. I think we're standing in a massive bird's nest." He was right. They were standing right in the center of a gigantic bird's nest. When Ronnie was younger, he used to think that every stick was just a baby tree. They were astonished when they comprehended that within the woven nest were saplings waking and swaying on their own. The young trees made no sounds they could hear, but they could tell they were calling for their mother. The ground began to move all around them. This time, several trees woke, turning into giants. Not just creatures in the trees. The creatures were the trees, and the larger ones were coming to check on or maybe even feed their babies. The young men dropped what they had and quickly ran back into the restaurant. Dave ran to the controls and hit the up button once again. He hit it not just once. He thumped on it as if with both hands, like he was doing a drum roll. One push is all it took, but pressing it repeatedly, made him feel like it would work faster. His partners ran to the windows and watched the two trees stepping all over the silverware, food, and jar of jellyfish. Once, one of the trees raised its root like a foot. The glass and a fork was lodged into its foot. Jeremy frantically asked, What do we do now?" Oddly enough, Ronnie told a story about an elephant that stepped on a thorn and how a little mouse took it out and they became best friends. Dave mocked, "Cute story. How the hell is that gonna help us? This ain't no elephant, and we are men, not mice. This ain't no fairy tale. Dream on, Ronnie." John spoke up. "Wait, he has a point. Not sure that wild moving tree will be grateful if we remove the glass and a fork out of its foot, its root, but there is a way we can deal with this situation. Look over there. See those tennis courts?" Dave was still playing devil's advocate. "Oh, and you want to go play tennis? You go. I'll stay here to figure out a better plan. I bet they even have a tennis ball launcher so you can play with yourself." Get it? Play with yourself? John persisted. "That's the point. I mean, not play with myself. The tennis ball launcher can be used kind of like a weapon." Jeremy joined in with Dave's side and mocked further. "That's stupid. How can a tennis ball defend us and destroy a charging tree?" John gave the incredible answer. "A boy in my neighborhood lit the balls on fire and shot them into the street. I watched from a safe distance." Ronnie was just listening. Dave wanted a fight, and Jeremy inquired, "Really? You can do that? You saw a kid do that?" Dave scolded Jeremy. "Shh, why are you yelling? I gotta be honest, I'm the bravest one here, and I'm not about to try to make it over there while those moody titans are out there waiting to bury us alive or use our blood to water their offspring. Huh. Who would have the guts to do that? Wait, are we going down?" He looked over at the control panel and yelled, "Ronnie!" While Ronnie was listening, He was unaware he was also leaning against the button that slowly lowered the elevator cables. By this time, they were back on ground level, but still safe within the walls of the restaurant. John ran into the kitchen and grabbed a long lighter used to light the stove pilot. Then he grabbed cooking oil. With that, the next thing they knew, John was out the door and running toward the tennis courts. The others watched as the two adult trees chased him. One of them was still impaired in one of its roots it used like a leg. The three boys raised the elevator in order to have superior bleacher seating to watch the show John was about to put on. They watched and cheered with amazement as they saw fireballs being launched at the tree tyrants. The wounded one caught fire first, and then its partner went over to help it. She too caught fire. The smoke rose up, and the trees fell down into ash. That smoke was a perfect signal to indicate to their chaperone where they were. On to chapter 12.